all Thursday. And I was schooled all Thursday. We got a chance to sit with them with lunch and everything, Bboy House and us. But you say it's a culture built on multicultures.
It's a multicultural culture, yes.
Yes. And it took me a little bit to kind of understand, okay, well, what do you mean by that?
Okay, again, let me give you more or less the misconception of the historical value. In my generation, you had different cultures in the same place that never really socialized. And if you did socialize, was maybe in school. You understand? But you have friends that live right across the street in the next block. But your socialization ends when school is out. They go to their block, you go to your block, and that's it. Okay? And it's funny because September comes back, and the question is, what do you do in the summer? They wasn't real alive. You understand? So what Herc did is that he always had functions where he would charge 50 cents, right? So, inviting people or somebody who actually knew him are the ones that basically would go to his house parties. So he decided to celebrate his sister's birthday. And to hold more people than just a house party, he decided to do it at community center. To find out that the overwhelming amount of people that came in actually had to open the patio door in order for them to continue to be a part of the party. As the music resonated through those doors, it resonated through the neighborhood. Once again, the neighborhood wasn't just black. It was Puerto Ricans, it was Dominicans, it was Cubans, it was Italians, it was Germans. In that environment, within itself, was multicultural. So when the music started resonating, we as humans want to know where the hell the party is at. We want to know where the party is at.
Yeah.
So we're going to wind up being, and on top of that, it's like, now the party's over there. Yeah. And you're not invited. You understand? So the community crashed it. Community crashed it. He must have had a vision because there's a park right close to there called Cedar Park. Okay? So he said, why throw parties for 50 cents? We're not going to move the block. So he decided, let me bring my sound system. And instead of having a party with us, let's party with all of us. So the music goes out, sets up the equipment. He was the first one to find out where can I get power to make this music jump off. And he went and found a light post. Jiggled it, got the metal played out, and found some way to use that power to start this equipment. Now you can imagine if this was a community sense of power that resonated, what do you think when that music came out of the park? How far did it reach? Okay? You think in that park there was somebody standing there with a velvet rope telling you, you can't come in, this is not for you, you have to pay, you're on the guest list? Hell no. It is come one, come all. It's simple. It's just music and people. So when I say this culture is a multicultural culture, it's because that's what it was. That's the beauty of what it is. But when the music stops, we go back to the same. We, as humans, are animal-like in nature. We are beasts in nature. It's just human nature. But when you hear music, it soothes the savage beast. There is nothing more beautiful than the exchange of energy through music and interpretations. And the beauty of the dance is you can imagine how many different cultures are there and how different people and their energy level is interpreted through the music differently. But yet, Nobody's saying you're not real, you're not this, you're not this. They're gonna say, that shit's nice. I need some of this. I never looked at it like this. I never felt it like this. I need to add this. That's what it is. So once again, don't ever wear I am hip hop because you are already hip hop. If you're here, you don't need a label to signify who you with. You are your race's heritage, background, and if you decide you want to be a rapper, a popper, a locker, a b-boy, a DJ, a graph writer, and this is the way you empower yourself, that's self-explanatory. Don't need no label. Period. Period. You want to use hip-hop? Cool. You want to put it out there on the fly? That's good. But it's your duty, each one of you, to change the state of mind of the ignorance out there when they walk through that door to educate them of the beauty that it really is. And that's all it is. And that's all it is. Once again, if it's not that, it is downright. And I guarantee you, if Bam was here, Herc was here, Flash was here, Theodore was here, they would say if they would get up and applaud you before you even thinking about giving it back to them. Because this is what they believe, and this is the fundamental foundation of something beautiful that keeps touching the youth throughout the world. If the youth are our future, then our future is freaking bright.
Nice. Yo, Trac, so can you tell us a little bit about your experience being a b-boy, coming in from Rockin into b-boy, and who were those crews? You have explained to me a lot, you know, and I take it in. We're trying to confine this in an hour type of thing. I sat all day Thursday, and I took it all in, so I'm blessed, and I thank you for that. But just, I know these people can take it in. These are my people, so what can you explain a little bit about that era and what the dance was then? And then we'll move forward to what the dance is now, and then moving forward to the future.
All right. You got to remember, each individual here, we're just a product of the generation before us. All we wait is for our time to shine. Okay? My generation were the outlaws to what's going to evolve to what's called Rockin. The original name of the dance is called acid freestyle rocking, because all dance form in its infancy is straight up freestyle. There is no label, there is no real interpretation, but it's the energy of that person rhythmically moving to sound which automatically attracts somebody else. And as more people take in the fundamental structure of that person's interpretation, the next person, all it does is elaborates on it. So now, labels are added, paying homage to those, they add a different flavor to it. So when a package is already put together, in locking, Don Campbell was the guy that did something in a house party that energy level allowed people to gravitate to. But Don Campbell did not create the Skeeter Rabbit. Skeeter Rabbit did that. Look at locking, and the reason I say locking, because locking is also an urban dance, but the beauty of locking is that it was televised through Soul Train. Okay? Look at locking in its stages. How many parts in locking have different names to solidify that foundation? So when you go to learn locking, they're going to show you technically the fundamental foundation of that dance style. But they also going to drop names of historical value that had an input to create that. So now comes my generation. Acid freestyle rocking it depicts that generation. Late 60s, Vietnam War. Drug of choice, acid. It is the hippie era. It is the flower child. It is forget about the government. Forget about the that we got ourselves into. We're gonna take this pill. We just gonna go crazy and forget about life itself. I'm gonna enjoy who I am, what I'm about, and speak my mind. In the early 70s, you had the outlaw, had a ritual aspect of a dance form. And it was very aggressive, very disrespectful. But it was also done in an environment of a celebration through rock music. So when you say where rock comes from rock music, in which outlaws had the that don't give a shit attitude. So when you see people doing burns and jerks, doing this, that aggressiveness, it's really paying homage to something that will ultimately evolve. Then you have, like 71, 72, they took that aspect of fundamental foundation, now they polished it up because the next generation's interpretation of what they've seen has a different perspective. Because now the scenery, it's a little bit more dressy, right? Outlaw style you cannot take into a club. So how can I take this fundamental foundation, polish it up, and make it look like a real dance floor? The rockers of the early 70s was to change that. Okay? It went from something where it's socially accepted, and which is, the neighborhoods, the parks, the gang clubhouse. Now it became a little bit more socially accepted in clubs because it got polished up with the same aggression, the same artistical art form. My generation took for that. But the beauty of my generation has the real beauty to it. It is blacks and Puerto Ricans now. It is not just Puerto Ricans. Blacks were the first B-boys and the first crew that was solidified that essence and B-boy motion was Zulu Kings. First crew to ever exist. Period. And it was simple. They were very powerful. They were very, aggressive in their style. But they didn't really have a dance technique to show it. It was a buildup of energy that just exploded when they danced. If you look at any old footages, they would just hit the floor and it just sporadically just go crazy. But it's beautiful. It's eye-catching. It's powerful. And the energy is what brings you in. They would do a spin called the Around the World Zulu Spin. It's a form of tap dancing, Afrocentric energy, okay, that captures that youth interpretation that pays respect, not only who they are as people, okay, or what they are in the community, and proud of it. The Latinos, Puerto Ricans, we are Caribbean rhythmic people. So what they did is just inspired us to what we already was doing, and we took the energy and that aggressive style and just added a little flavor to it. Zulu Kings were doing top boxes. We were rockers. All we did is took the energy that they had and said, how can I get from this to the beauty and the energy of what they do? And it all happens in an outdoor jam. The exchange of interpretation, the beauty of one another. Late 74, you will start to see the emergence of it. The Latinos added the top rock. They needed a transition in order to get to that hardcore rawness, which was called at that time down rocking. Rockers, down rocking. How can we get the deal of both? So now you have Puerto Ricans adding a simple corkscrew. Corkscrew is what you put inside a cork, and when you move it, it has a turn to it. They decided to step out, spin down, instead of getting into the sporadic motion that's like this, when their rhythmic beginning in the intro to when they start to dance is flavor. Why take it away when you want to hit the heart and soul of that energy? But you don't want to take the heart and soul of that energy. You just want to spice it up a little bit. You want to make it yours. You can take your parents' recipe and then just add a pinch of this and you made it yours. So what we did is, the sporadic now says, okay, how can we keep the dance form that has this power and then change it around to where we have it rhythmic? So there was a Puerto Rican crew around the Tremont area, not too far from where Bronx River is at. So you know that the exchange of energy will ultimately also bring these two crews together without knowing it. So all of a sudden they took something that began like this. Now it has a little flavor. Now it has a little step that goes down. Boom. Yes. Yes. That is called salsa. And the reason I say salsa is because the crew's value of what the evolution was going to become, you have to give them the historical value of the dance itself now. So it's Zulu King's flavor and aggressiveness that should never be historically taken away, and salsa's interpretation that will ultimately make it a complete dance form. That's what it was, Puerto Rican blacks. When I say I'm a second generation rocker, first generation rocker B-boy, because rocking was the Latino that influenced me. Rockin' and B-boy is the beauty of blacks and Puerto Ricans to create one dance form. And you gotta remember, it is the only dance form that this country could lay claim to, because every other dance form was brought here. It was brought here. We evolved it. It has different labels, but it was brought here. Period. It's just like when you house dancing. If you really dissect house dancing, it's modernized, different label, different interpretation, but it's tap dancing. That's it. It's a different code, different interpretation. But what we do is all he told us, it's just tap dancing to the 10th power. Okay? But the beauty of what we do as a culture, there is no boundaries. In tap dancing, there is something that you cannot change it. The Nicholas brothers, from the late 50s, early 60s, phenomenal tap dancers. And they took it to a different level. But they exploited it. They exploited the beauty, the aggression of how blacks took that dance form and changed it around. To this day, that dance form is not allowed to happen anymore. They milked it, they profit from it, and now you cannot take it away from it. You see a tap dancer do what the Nicholas brothers do. In the 50s, it's considered tap dancing in the 50s. It's frowned upon now. Because that cultural dance form should never be changed. That's what it is. That's what it is. Our culture, we accept the change. We want to change. If we don't go nowhere. We just stay where we are now. Now you tell me one dance form that ever existed that has this much cultural background beauty in it. No. So when I tell you this is a multicultural culture, that's just the beauty of the reality of what it is. And I guarantee you that's something nobody wants to promote. You know why? Because it stands for power in people. Okay? Politicians, government don't want to see people with power. That's why they don't get promoted. That's why they don't want to value it, because it's poison to them. We become a threat to them. So now they promoted it, or somebody got stabbed in this. I'm gonna tell you right now, human nature is gonna happen. Somebody can get stabbed in front of the White House because that's what's gonna happen. Did hip hop did that? No. But a crowd of people they're speaking on behalf of that, and the aggressiveness, because you know, you're going to have both sides. One is going to say yeah, one is going to say no. You know, we have to continue to break down doors. Not only when we break it down, we got to make sure we make something out of it. We have to. The culture right now is about conquer and divide. We cannot be divided. We got to stand as one. We only as strong as its weakest link. And the weakest link is the ignorance that's out there. So let's educate them.